chair. I am the department chair for the Department of Engineering, Computer Information Systems, and Cybersecurity Systems. So it's a bit of a mouthful. Just to let you know, I am an electrical engineer. So for the folks that are interested in like CIS or cybersecurity systems, you probably won't see too much of me other than for like professional society events, things like that. But I'm very proud about those two programs. And what I want to do today is a couple things. Talk a little bit about the program overall, meaning the whole department, because we're fairly large. So there's a lot of engineers, there's a lot of computer information system students and cybersecurity students. And then more for this particular talk, tailor it toward the degree plan for CIS and cybersecurity. The additional thing like I'd like to do, and I know I recognize some names from the last talk. I'm going to give you a bit of a mock presentation. It's the same one that I did a few minutes ago, so just kind of bear with me for the folks that were here earlier for the engineering. So just to kind of start with, I want to talk a little bit about the program in general, kind of answer questions. So you should be able to see my screen. So this is a fairly informal presentation. So please, if you have questions, just type it down the chat. I'm watching it right now. So if there's a particular slide and and you got a question, please again ask away. This is really a time for y'all to just kind of get an idea of what about UIW, the degree plan, and ask those questions. So just to kind of begin with a little bit about myself. My name again is Dr. Frye, and I am an engineer. So I'm an electrical engineer. My title is professor of engineering, and what that means is I've been here at Incarnate Word for a while. This has been my 14th year. So I've been teaching engineering classes for quite some time. One thing that's always really amazed me about UIW is the diversity. Of course, we've got a lot of folks from San Antonio. We've got a lot of students come from Houston, Dallas, El Paso. But I think what really makes the program special is the fact that we have so many international students. Over the last, in 80 countries, wow, 80 countries. Over my time here, over the last 14 years, I have worked with students from, I think, everywhere. I've had the opportunity to go to Mexico a lot. We have some sister schools there. I've gone to India. We've had quite a few students that have joined us from India. We have a lot of students, as I can see from just a chat today, a lot of students from Central and South America, a lot of students obviously from Mexico, but we have it from Europe, quite a large contingent, I can tell you right now, in the computer information systems from Germany. We have a lot of students from Turkey. So we're a pretty diverse mix here. I think that really makes for a powerful 4-year time here at UIW, because you will spend time with folks from different cultures, different countries, and you'll learn from that. And I think we all recognize now that the world we live in is very global, and being able to have that kind of international perspective is important. And coming to school in the U.S., I think it's a wonderful experience. It'll definitely give you an experience of living for a few years here in San Antonio, Texas, and really get to meet new friends. And I think these friendships will last a lifetime. So a little bit about myself. As I mentioned, I am an electrical engineer. I teach mainly electrical engineering classes, and I have some photos here to the right. I do a lot of research. Oh, we have someone from Lebanon. That's great. In fact, we have a visiting professor. She is from Beirut, And so again, we're definitely a very diverse mix. So I do a lot of research on top of my teaching, and that research, what I learned from my research then is put back into my teaching, and I think that makes things very interesting. All our professors here at UIW do that, be it they're an art professor or mechanical engineering professor. The stuff that we research is then brought into our teaching, because that keeps, what that means is the stuff that you all are learning are definitely state of the art, and you're learning the current trends, and that's very important. So some photos that I took, I was on an aircraft carrier a few years back off the coast of Florida, and I had the opportunity to watch airplanes take off and land off the aircraft carrier. And I was there because my background is in autonomous vehicles. So I work a lot on autonomous ground and autonomous air vehicles. And I was learning how airplanes land and take off on an aircraft carrier. And it's quite exhilarating experience, very loud, very noisy. And for the folks that have seen Top Gun, and I know there's a new one coming out, it's a lot like that. So it was a lot of fun. And this is the stuff these are the experiences that I learned that then I put into the classes. And I'm hoping that makes things interesting. So again, I'm an electrical engineer by trade. Probably if you're going to be doing CIS and cyber, you won't see a lot of me teaching, but you will see me engaged in other stuff. Just a little bit of engagement here. This was developed by some of our computer information systems students, along with a CIS professor, working with my drone team. We have a contract to inspect power lines, and we're using artificial intelligence basically to inspect that. Let me tee this up for you all. Let me ask you all a question. What is the benefit of just having a drone, and by a drone I mean just like an airplane, inspect a power line as opposed to a technician? Like, what's the point? I'll be kind of curious to see your perspective on that. So why are we doing this? So basically we just have a drone flying, and it's using its video camera, and the video camera is doing all the work instead of actually having a technician. A technician would have to climb up there and look at it. And yeah, exactly. I hear save time and money. Yeah, it's a lot easier to fly a drone than to have a bucket truck or truck go up there with a technician to go look at this, and definitely a lot less dangerous. You're dealing with high-powered cabling. You touch that, and you're definitely more likely than not you're not going to survive the contact of that, because there's a lot of current. So yeah, it's a lot safer. And this is the trend that we're seeing overall in the market. We're seeing a lot of the dangerous work being replaced by robots, and a lot of the mundane, tedious, boring stuff is being replaced by robots. And it does just that, saves time and money. And I kind of bring this up because the stuff that you're seeing on these videos are done by UIW students. Okay, they're not done by PhDs, they're not done by MIT or Stanford. It's done here by undergraduates. Most of the students here are juniors and senior level. We have here at the lower left, we do a lot of work. We do a lot of drone work, but we also do a lot of ground work. And that gentleman you see there to the lower left in the red, that's Ulysses Franco from Mexico. So again, we work with a lot of international students doing research. He is a CIS major. He's going to be graduating this semester. He has worked with us for the last year in the computational intelligence lab. Let you know there are opportunities to work on campus, get paid. He's actually a student employee. He works 20 hours a week with faculty members doing research. He's published, he's gone to conferences, and he's actually developed this autonomous algorithm to identify lines on the ground. So he's actually working on an autonomous car. The project on the upper left-hand corner is not very clear, but you'll notice that there's like a ship. That's San Diego. Ulysses, actually with a professor, created a method that looks at the ship, and it can tell us where that ship is located, lat long, and it's, in this case, it's off Coronado Island near San Diego. And you'll notice it's giving us the bearing, so we kind of know what direction it's taking. Again, it was done by an undergraduate student. This was for a Navy project, and we submitted this to a Navy challenge, and we actually placed. And so we're very proud of the students. I say this because if you choose to come to UIW, and I do hope everyone here chooses to come to UIW, you're going to be given opportunities that you're not going to see in a lot of other universities. And that's because we're a teaching university. We're focused on the undergraduate. And so the experiences and the projects and the conferences and the networking that you get is typically what a graduate student would get. And these experiences translates to marketability, meaning one of two things. You'll get a job, or you'll go to grad school, go get that PhD. So I think that's very special about UIW. You'll be, a lot of students actually don't have to get internships because they actually work with the labs. Again, the lab that I run, all the students there are paid, and they work 20 hours a week, and they do some wonderful work. We just had a drone team that works in my particular lab. They placed second place at a drone competition at a conference, and they did wonderful jobs. And so these are the kind of the reasoning about why you want to come here. Last but not least, for the folks that know hamburgers here, and if you don't know Whataburger hamburgers, please, it should be one of your first things you do when you come to UIW. You they're cheap and they're pretty good. The local headquarters, the headquarters for Whataburgers, just down the street from UIW, they're beginning to use drones for their work, and I'll pitch that out to you. A question: so why does a hamburger company need drones? Why would they need a aircraft basically to fly around? Why would they care? Deliveries, yeah, that's one thing. They're actually investigating how can someone from UIW use an app, use the Whataburger app, order a Whatameal, for $6, and how can we get it delivered to them? And yeah, they're looking at that. How can drones be used for that? Now we're not even close to be able to do something like that here in the U.S. But yeah, that's one option. They want to know, can we fly hamburgers from a restaurant over to a specific student at UIW? Monitor their farms. Yeah. Whataburger builds lots of has lots of restaurants. They hire a lot of engineers to build these things, and they need to be able to do inspections. One bad thing about UIW, we tend to get, or not UIW, but Texas in general, is we tend to get some bad weather, tornadoes sometimes, hail damage, hurricanes. They want to have their own drones that can inspect their facilities. So lots of opportunities. Again, this is an example of students working with a corporation to do some testing for them. And it's kind of neat that we're working with a very well-known brand here in Texas, Whataburger, and it was a great experience. And they got a lot of free coupons for hamburgers. And yes, yeah, Texas we're on our own power grid, so it's a very kind of that typical special. We're special here in Texas. So again, I kind of bring this up. There's a lot of unique opportunities here at UIW. You just need to kind of engage, and these are type of experiences that are immeasurable, and I think makes your degree here after 4 years very, very competitive. And I think this is the reason why our graduates do so well, especially our international students. Our faculty. So the departments. The department actually offers 3 degrees. We offer an engineering degree, and I know some of y'all were on that talk earlier, but we also offer a degree in computer information systems and a degree in computer cybersecurity systems. They're all Bachelor of Science, so they're all Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems or Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity Systems in engineering. And as you know, there's 8 of us, and we're kind of broken out nicely amongst the specialties. We have 2 mechanical professors. For the folks that are CIS and cyber, you'll probably never see them, take any classes from them. But Dr. Ahona and Dr. Andy. The professors that you will see a lot is Professor Vumula and Professor Amari. They are our computer information system professors. They teach a lot of the computer networking, a lot of the hardware, software, operating system classes, and computer programming classes. We have two cybersecurity professors, Dr. Para and Dr. Collins. Just to let you know, both Dr. Para and Dr. Collins are electrical engineers like myself, but they've specialized in cybersecurity. There are two dedicated electrical engineering professors that teach electrical classes. One's Dr. Chaglian and myself. And so I'm the chair of all three programs, and I'm an electrical engineer. A little bit about the backgrounds of these professors, because we're actually pretty diverse. Dr. Ahona and Dr. Para are actually both from Mexico. And I believe, I know Dr. Ahona is from Monterrey, and I think Dr. Para is also from Monterrey, Mexico. Dr. Andy is from Hyderabad, India. Dr. Vumula, or Professor Vumula is from India. I can't remember, I think Bangalore. And Professor Amari is from Jordan. Dr. Collins is a good old Texan. Dr. Chaglian is from Turkey, and then myself, I'm all over the place, but I call Arizona my kind of my hometown, Yuma, Arizona, if you want to know. So we're a pretty diverse group ourselves. So the department is big. Within the we're part of the School of Math, Science, and Engineering. And within the particular school, we happen to be the second largest department. The largest department happens to be biology, and they're historically have always been large, or about 600. We are the second largest by far. There are over 200 of us, and students, and growing. And I'll have to kind of emphasize this: the international population, the international students for all three programs, engineering, CIS, and cyber, has been growing steadily over the last few years. David's asking average class time. Most of our classes meet twice a week. So our classes either meet on Monday, Wednesdays, or Tuesday, Thursdays. Good news is most of y'all will probably never have a Friday class. There are a few, but most of y'all will never have a Friday class. So hope it helps out a little bit. We do not have weekend classes. The average class time is 1 hour and 15 minutes per lecture. Okay, so you meet twice a week, so it's 2.5 hours basically a week on a class. Class sizes, engineering classes tend to be smaller. We're about 12 to 18. Based on the topic. CIS and cyber classes tend to be a little larger. They run about 24 to 30 students, so they tend to be a little bit bigger. But again, we're still considered fairly small class sizes for the topics. Very good questions. Questions about faculty. Okay, get to the next slide. So for this particular talk, I'm assuming most of y'all are interested in our Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems. And let me ask you this. What's the breakout? Perfect timing. So I kind of want to see what the breakout is. Okay, so far engineering's beating. Okay, there, CIS, good. We have someone in CIS. Still a lot of engineers here. Interesting, no one in cyber. Chris says engineering rocks. I have to agree. When undecided, okay, that's good. I like it when I see undecided. That means we can work with you. Okay, so it looks like most of us have done the poll. Let me ask you this. Does anyone know what computer information systems is? And that may help. So let me ask you that first question. What is computer information systems? Any brave souls out there that may want to take a stab at it? And you can see it kind of from what I have here. I'm saying networking and I'm saying programming. Well, so what is CIS, and why would someone want to go into this? Computer information systems is related to information technology. Information technology is really the study and implementation of computer networks. So the laptop that you connect to the Wi-Fi, the desktop that you connect to the Ethernet, the computer server that's running in the background, they're all connected on a network. Computer information systems, the folks that graduate from that, exactly what Chris is saying, like they manage that network, they manage that computer system. We all get very frustrated when our Wi-Fi doesn't work or our Zoom doesn't work. It's these folks that come in and help us get that fixed, the password, what happens if a hard drive fails on a server, at midnight. It's those folks that kind of deal with that. The computer information system degree that we have has two specialties. One is in computer networking. So this is like exactly what I said. You have a computer server, you have a local area network where someone's talking about Facebook being fixed. That's computer information systems. Networking has to do with the actual system infrastructure for all the laptops, the Wi-Fi, the Ethernet, all connecting to the server that's going out to the internet. So it's a very, very complex, very, very cutting edge area. So that's one specialty, one track that you can do within networking. The other one is actually computer programming. Who here, just let me know, who here has an interest in computer programming? Because I know there's a lot of engineers, and engineers better be interested in programming, but that's kind of the nature of the field. So I got at least Dave is interested. Good. I'm getting some folks saying yes. Since the department is responsible for computer information systems now, we actually offer a lot of computer programming classes. So from the folks that were here this morning, we know that the base language that engineers learn is MATLAB. However, for the students that go into computer information systems, they actually have the opportunity to learn Python. And I'm hoping some of y'all have heard of Python. That's in the news a lot. That's probably the most in-demand programming language right now. So we teach a couple semesters of Python. We teach C#, which is a variant of C, and then we teach C++. So we have a concentration in programming. And I bring that up because CIS also offers a minor in computer information systems. So for the folks out there that may not want to get a degree in it, maybe they're an engineer, but they want to learn a little bit more about networking, a little bit more about the hardware software operating systems, that's available. And yes, there is Java classes also. That's more geared toward our website design. We actually even do website design. You can get a minor in CIS and specialize in programming. And we have quite a few students in engineering that do that. So, however, we do offer a BS just focused on CIS. I'll let you know, our CIS students tend to get jobs quicker than our engineers, meaning they get internships faster. Does anyone know why? I've noticed that at a younger age. I've noticed that freshmen are getting internship jobs almost immediately after a year of CIS. Does anyone know why? In demand, yes. Computer infrastructure is a huge, huge business right now. Someone had mentioned Facebook going down. Yeah, there is a massive shortage of folks that are in IT. So they're always calling UIW. They're calling me saying, hey, do you know anyone that's willing to do an internship? And they're paying $20, $25 an hour just to bring them in as a freshman. So it's a big area. So this is why CIS is huge. And I can't graduate enough students. So it's a very in-demand field. And most of our students get jobs very quickly, and most of our students get internships very quickly. So it's definitely something to think about. However, there is a minor. The other program that we have is you can get a Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity Systems. And this one's a newer program for us, and we just inherited this degree this semester, so I'm still kind of learning about it. But it's fascinating because it's very closely related to engineering. So I know some of y'all are interested in engineering. Something to consider is this idea of being like an electrical engineer interested in cybersecurity. What's cybersecurity? Anyone? Any brave soul out there? I've got someone saying protection of data. Yeah, definitely. We've all heard of ransomware, right? We've all heard of like malware and antivirus and viruses. Yeah. So this is the area. Cybersecurity systems is, yeah, white hats. Hopefully all y'all are going to be white hats and not black hats. The black hats are the hackers, the bad hackers. The white hats are the good hackers. Cybersecurity is focused on how do you protect the computer network? How do you protect the UIW network, internal network? How do you protect Facebook? Facebook went down. How do you protect the internet from the bad guys? And cybersecurity systems is very interesting. We teach classes in hacking. White hat means you're a good hacker. Black hat means you're a bad hacker. But we actually teach malware. How do you build a virus? How do you detect viruses? So this is a fascinating degree. Just to let you know, cybersecurity, again, has more of an engineering feel to it, and it's very, very cutting edge. Why do we offer a Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity at UIW? It just so happens that there happens to be an office for the National Security Agency here in San Antonio, and they're always recruiting interns from our program. Also, there is a regional office of the FBI, and they're focused on cybersecurity also. So they're hiring a lot of interns. So it is a big area. Good question. How much math is required in CIS? Well, currently, the math requirement for CIS is considerably less than engineering. As of right now, all you need is algebra and probability and statistics. Now, I'll let you know that's going to be changing, but that will probably not impact you. So I kind of tee this up for the folks that's saying, yeah, I want to be in the technology area, but I really don't like math. CAS might be a good fit for you because the math requirements is considerably less than what you will see in engineering. So CIS, not as much math, but a lot more programming. Cybersecurity, more math, but a lot less programming. So just to kind of let you know. Okay, go to the next slide. So the hours. Again, as I mentioned, UIW requires the UIW core. The core classes are your English classes, your PE classes, your art class, your philosophy and religion classes, kind of what we call the liberal arts general core classes. The idea is, even though you're going to go into computer programming or you're going to go into cybersecurity, you still need to be very well-rounded. And we are very proud of the fact that you'll have opportunities to go to other different schools within UIW and meet other type of majors. And we like that mix. So you'll make friends with folks in business, you'll make friends in the folks in the English department and the art department. And it's those experiences and those networking, we think that goes a long way. So we do take our core very seriously. It is required. For the folks in computer information systems, the major requires 44 hours. The major classes are your programming classes, your hardware operating system classes like Linux and Windows. So you will learn a lot of the Linux. There are 18 hours of concentration. So you'll notice there was a networking and a computer programming concentration. So the students have to decide between those. And what's unusual about CIS, because they don't require as much science and math, there's actually 15 additional hours that you can use. A lot of our students for the 15 hours of electives actually take business classes over at the business school, and they specifically take management information systems, MIS. And it's a concentration of IT and business. So it gives them a little bit of an entrepreneurial perspective, and also allows our CIS students to engage with and work with business students. So we're really happy with that. For the folks that are in engineering, you'll notice there's a lot less credit hours to graduate CIS, 120, as opposed to engineering, which is again about 129. So there's a lot less hours to graduate from CIS. Cybersecurity, it's not as flexible because of the fact that it does require a lot more foundational classes. Still have the 43 hours, and the class is the major hours is 79. That's because there's not as much play, not as much flexibility in terms of the electives, and there aren't a track. So most of the cyber students take the same classes together. To graduate with a cyber degree, it's 122 hours. Questions about the hours? Main difference between CIS and CSEC. CIS is more focused on information technology, the actual hardware and software. So think working on the computer server, on the computer racks. Cybersecurity is more focused on protecting the network, the firewall. How do you detect that someone's actually got into the network? So it's a little bit more software based. And it requires a little bit more intuition and those like the network penetration type classes, things like that. CIS, again, I like to say is like information technologies. Much you can feel it, you can see the system. Cyber is more of someone working on a computer trying to determine is there a bad guy on the network or not, and that's very interesting. It's fun for some people to do that. So good question, David. Some typical CIS and CSEC classes. I kind of bring the attention that you'll notice from the folks that are in engineering. You'll notice that we don't emphasize the math classes as much. It's definitely a lot more specific within the CIS and in cyber. I kind of bring your attention, and this is typical between cyber and CIS. There is generally a lot more programming. We offer a program called Programming 1, Programming 2, and Programming 3. This is all the Python and C++ classes. As I mentioned, we do a lot of operating systems. So the folks will learn how to use Linux and server stuff. Hardware and software is focused on how do you actually support a computer hardware. So say for instance, a hard drive failed, or a computer rack failed on a server. So you'll kind of learn that. One thing that I'll emphasize about CIS and cyber, it's a lot more hands-on than engineering. Engineering tends to be more theoretical. CIS and cyber tends to be much more practical. So this is for the folks that like to work with their hands. Definitely CIS and cyber would be a great opportunity. I also want to emphasize there's a lot more programming in both CIS and the cyber programs. New for this year is the capstones for CIS and cyber. They work with engineers. So they'll work together. And this one, the project for this semester is an Internet of Things. They're working on trying to make a voice recognition system safe, so that we can't just have a hacker kind of hack into it and start ordering Amazon stuff. So it's a combination. There's 5 engineers and CIS and cyber students working together on that project. So we're looking forward in another month to see what they do. Questions about the classes? Okay. Just want to talk a little bit about opportunities to engage within departments, and this is something I didn't talk about in the engineering talk. We have 5 very, very active clubs within the departments. We have the Institute of Electronic Engineers, what we call IEEE. They are focused on obviously electrical engineering, but electrical engineering is pretty broad. So under electrical engineering is a lot of cybersecurity, a lot of computer information systems, robotics. So it's a fairly large organization here at UIW. I just showing a picture. I like to brag about them. Our drone team competed at a international conference held here locally by IEEE, and they placed second place. So we're very, very proud of them. They worked all summer and the fall to come up to build a drone that can identify color. You can see that kind of blue gate there. The idea was to fly through to see the blue and fly through it and go through an obstacle course. And they did a wonderful job. And that was IEEE. I bring that up because this group was made up of engineers and computer information systems. And they helped, the engineers did the hardware stuff, got the programs onto the drone. It was called a tele drone. And the CIS folks did all the programming. And it was a combination of engineering and CIS that won the day. And they did wonderful. Again, they did this a few weeks ago. So proud of them. We have a very active Women in Cyber. And this is something I kind of want to emphasize. One of the main issues with the technology field is the fact that we don't have a lot of women in the program. Just to let you know, so the University Incarnate Word, I believe we're about 65% female. However, if you look at the numbers for engineering, cyber, and CIS, we're horrible. We're about 85% male and 15% women. We really need to reverse that trend, and we're very happy that we have the Women in Cyber program, because it's really helping to recruit younger women, say at high school and middle school, to kind of consider a profession in CIS and cyber and engineering. With that note, we also have a very active society of women engineers, same objective, to increase the number of women that are participating in engineering. Both programs are open to both male and female, and they're very active. They bring in a lot of guest speakers, a lot of networking. I highly encourage you all to join some of these societies. Crypto Cardinals is our cybersecurity club. They're actually right now getting ready for a national cyber competition in the spring, where they're going to spend something like 72 hours over the weekend doing hackathons and all that on a hackable network. And we're hoping to place just like the drone team. So we do a lot of real practical stuff. Additionally, we have the engineering club. The engineering club is a little bit more general. It's more for the mechatronics and for the mechanical engineers, but the electrical engineers are part of that too. All 5 clubs are very active. And I'm saying there should be no excuse about y'all joining a professional society. We also have a lot of special interest groups. So just please consider that. I think it's very important to be engaged within at UIW. I mentioned this. The CIS and cyber folks tend to get internships faster and at an earlier level, say at the freshman and sophomore level, because of the fact that cybersecurity and information technology is in such demand right now. But again, I think it's very, very, one of the strong suits about our program here at UIW is the fact that you gain real world knowledge very quickly. Some of the folks that we work with, again, is Boeing. They hire mainly engineers. HEB hires a lot of our CIS students to help with their network. The NSA wants people that have hacking backgrounds, so they hire our students and they actually teach them how to hack. USAA is interested in engineers and with cybersecurity and CIS. They want everyone. Southwest Research is looking for engineers and CIS for IT. FBI wants hackers, and Rackspace is looking for everyone. They're a hosting company that puts data on the cloud, so they need to protect the data. They need to be able to make sure the data is downloadable and that the user experience is easy, and they need engineers to help with the network. So we have lots of opportunities here locally to get internships. And please take this picture here. This is my contact information, and I'm showing it's 12:13. So I want to kind of just give a mock classroom. But please take a picture of this. I am more than happy to have an individual Zoom meeting with anyone that's interested in CIS or cybersecurity or engineering. Again, you have questions about the program, more than happy to set up a meeting and we can chit chat a little bit and I can answer your questions. Any specific questions from this slide deck before I move on? Okay. So I'm going to spend maybe no more than 10 minutes because I know some of y'all have seen this already. I'll try to mix it up a little bit, add some different insight. So one thing that I want to kind of emphasize here at UIW is our classes tend to be very innovative and I think engaging. What I want to do today is just kind of give you a feel as to what you can expect in a class. Now, this is an engineering class, but it actually has CIS students in it. So it's engineering 4399, Introduction to Machine Learning. Machine learning has to do with artificial intelligence, and I think I talked about this last time. The class right now is actually being taught by Dr. Para. I taught this last year, and I'm glad Dr. Para was teaching it because, again, he's from Monterrey, Mexico. The class right now is about 12 students, and it's very, very diverse. We have a lot of students from Argentina, I think 3. They're CIS majors. We have quite a large contingent from Mexico. And I think El Salvador or Nicaragua or something like that. It's a very interesting group. So we were all kind of joking that everyone's first language is Spanish. It's just a little bit different different dialect and all that. And they were joking they could actually teach the class in Spanish, but they teach it in English. But I kind of bring that up because we have a lot of international students in our program, both in CIS and in cyber. And as I mentioned, we also for this year we have a lot of folks from Europe and from Germany specifically. So this specific class this year is taught by Dr. Para. And again, lots of international students in it, and they're enjoying it. What I want to do is just kind of give you a feel as to what to expect in a class and how lectures are done. Now, I'll let you know, I'm not a big fan of PowerPoints. We fortunately back to face now, so you kind of get I think it's a better experience. We don't do as many online classes. We had to do that the last several semesters. But typically, if you take a CIS class, it's all hands-on. It's a lot of labs. Obviously, that's hard to do online. So everything is face-to-face, and we're proud of that. Me particularly, I like to minimize PowerPoints. I tend to spend more time on the board. But this will kind of give you a feel. So like, what is machine learning and what is artificial intelligence? I like to think machine learning is just that, is the ability to get computers to kind of think for themselves. And the paradigm difference is this: when I teach computer programming for engineers, when I teach that, the input flow is always data in some sort of computer program, and then the output is an answer, and the computer does its thing based on what the computer script is. For machine learning, actually, it's reversed. What we're doing is we're putting input in and we're putting output in, and the computer is learning from, okay, based on the input and based on the outputs, I should do this. An example of this would be the football score, American football score for a game like between the Texans and Dallas. We can take all the historical data and all the results of all previous 20 years of games, put it in the computer, and the computer will build a program that will try to predict what will be the outcome of the next game. And that's machine learning in a nutshell. It's taking data, taking results, and then trying to look for patterns and results and building its own program. So machine learning basically kind of just like writes its own code. And that's kind of how we approach it. So instead of you writing the code, the machine is writing the code. And it's an interesting idea. And this is artificial intelligence. And Omar saying, as this, we're putting functions in it. Yeah, exactly. We use MATLAB in in machine learning, and basically it's just building functions. So it's kind of neat, and it's actually adding additional functionality to it. So it's a very neat concept. And I'll let you know, it's the future. If you don't take I would highly recommend, please take a machine learning class. If you don't, you're definitely going to be behind because it is going to be in every area of technology. So you'll be expected to know it. Where do you see machine learning right now? The real popular one is facial recognition. And I have a couple videos of that just to show you, and we did it here. We have we do a lot of what we call natural language processing. This is the Alexa. It's like, Alexa, please buy me more masks. That's NLP. And that's a lot of pattern recognition, learning a specific language, and then breaking it down and trying to figure out what that means. It shows up in machine learning. I like the credit card pattern. We've all had this happen where we want to buy something and we find out our credit card's been frozen because of unusual transactions. Maybe you bought something that was unusual for you. I always like to use the example of, you suddenly ordered a sewing machine, and you're a 23-year-old male and you've never done that before. Machine learning will flag that and send that to an operator, and they'll look at it and say, yeah, that's kind of weird. That's probably maybe someone stole the number. So you see machine learning all over the place. You see machine learning trying to predict games. Sport analytics right now is huge. And there's a lot of AI and a lot of machine learning that exists just in trying to predict how a specific game will go. We did this in-house. We built our own facial mask recognition system. Is basically just a modified facial recognition system. We have a computer that recognizes me. This is Professor Vumula that some of y'all will be taking. So we have a system that actually recognizes us with glasses on and off, with hats on and off. And we developed the system. We kind of just repurposed it and say, hey, can it recognize masks? And we did it in a couple hours. And the system, we trained it very quickly. And within 2 hours, the system relearned to recognize mask on or mask off. And we just did that because the school spent a lot of money on a mask recognition system, and we wanted to know if we could do the same thing. And our system is as accurate as our system. So I kind of emphasize this because that that mask recognition system was actually also done by some students. They helped out Professor Fumula. We work on autonomous cars. I'm going to show you a video of it right now. I'm kind of being mindful of time. This is a video of our autonomous car. Just to let you know, this car learned to drive in a circle by itself. It's using something called reinforcement learning. So it basically just through trial and error learned to drive in a circle. Again, it doesn't look very sophisticated, but we taught it nothing. We didn't write a computer code for it. We gave it a couple examples, and it sat there and just learned to drive in a circle. Initially, it was driving in a straight line, and then it began to start coming into more of a circle. That is one of our drones. It was just tracking. It's designed to recognize cars and then follow it. So again, this is a student-led project that we did during COVID. Was really interested. We had to do social distancing and all that, but we were able to do some very good experiments during the COVID time. Last but not least, the folks out here is all students. Those three with the yellow jackets on. They're all licensed drone operators with the federal government. Even international students can get a FAA license, so they're allowed to pilot drones. Anyone that flies our drones outside have to have the license, and these folks are working with our power company. And they put on board a video system that will stream to a computer, and the computer will analyze the videos in real time and tell us, is it a power line, and is it what components are. We're right now looking at making the system predict if a power line is going to fail, and that's a very, very helpful thing right now. So we're training some systems to do that. So eventually we'll be able to fly over a power line, and it'll tell us, you better look at that third power line because we think it's going to fail. We're also adding infrared. So right now everything's video, but we're going to start adding infrared technology to our system. If you would take a machine learning class, there's basically 4 topics that we will cover: unsupervised learning, supervised learning, reinforcement learning, and deep learning. Deep learning is the hot topic right now. Whenever you hear about artificial intelligence, it's all about deep learning. And deep learning, what that means is these are layers upon layers upon layers of artificial neurons that are learning. So these could be thousands upon thousands of layers. And all they do is they sit on a server and they learn and they learn and they learn. And eventually they'll come up with a prediction. And then from there we take it. We take that and we put it on the drone. Yes, and yeah, Chris is exactly right. We're using infrared cameras to actually identify hotspots. And what we'll want to do is be able to predict if a particular, this is what we call 3-phase, or the three power lines, which if it's unbalanced, which of the lines is hot, which is getting too much current. So that's what we're using that for. So in unsupervised learning, this is all what we call clustering analysis. So the system will basically learn by itself without any examples to identify patterns or clusters. And you can kind of eyeball this and see that, oh, there's 3 clusters. Just to let you know, that is how your credit card system works. It knows that myself, like I tend to use my credit card for a few things: buying gas, groceries, and coffee, 3 clusters. Suddenly I'm buying a sewing machine. And it's like, that's outside of any of those clusters. That is unsupervised learning. I'll say, this is not right. It looks like it's fraudulent. Supervised learning, which is what deep learning is when we give it examples. And in this case, you'll see a lot of supervised learning doing what we call classification. Classification is trying to determine is something, one object or another. In this case, it's a cancerous cell. Is it benign or malignant? And you can train based on like photos, giving it a bunch of photos that based on the tumor size, if it's small, it's benign, but once it reaches a certain size, it must be malignant. And this is kind of the idea of supervised learning. And that's it. At this point, I'm showing we got about 4 minutes. I just kind of want to open this up to any general questions for myself or Michaela. So are there any questions for us?
I'm putting up my contact information here if you think of any more questions later, or if you need some help with the application, or if you just want to say hi. This is my WhatsApp and my email. We're also very active on social media. We post student testimonials, events, faculty spotlights. So be sure to check that out as well.
Any questions for us? So you all have my contact information. Please do not be shy. If you want some clarification or you just want to introduce yourself to me, more than happy to set up a Zoom meeting. And we can chit chat. I definitely like you all to, if you've not considered coming to UIW, to consider coming to UIW, because it'd be really nice to be able to work with y'all and kind of bring your all's perspective. It's really important, and I think it's really one of the powerful things about coming to UIW is just the international diversity that we have. It really makes for an engaging time here at UIW. So if you have any questions, by all means, please reach out to me. And let me just, before.
Omar is asking about the application requirements. So for the application, we just need you to submit the online application either on our website or on the Common App. Or the Common App's fine as well. This part should only take about 15 minutes or so. And then for the application, all we need is a copy of your high school transcript and proof of English proficiency. So we'll look at your overall high school grade point average, and that's what we will use to determine your scholarship. And then the proof of English proficiency, that can be in the form of one of the exams like TOEFL or Duolingo. Or if you're doing the IB diploma program, you won't need one of those exams. So I put in the chat the link to our website. I do want to mention here a great opportunity we have on our website to chat with current UIW students from a variety of countries. If you have questions for them about transitioning to life in the United States, living on campus, that kind of thing, go ahead and go to our website and they'll be more than happy to talk to you about their experience so far. That is our last talk for today. We do have a information session coming up, just a general information session. If you're interested in that, that will be on November 10th. Omar's asking about SAT. So we don't look at SAT scores for admission, but I think if you do take it, we can use that as proof of English proficiency. But again, those scores are not required. If you haven't taken any exam yet, I do recommend looking at Duolingo because many universities are accepting it now. It's fairly cheap. It's also convenient because you can take it at home. So that's a pretty good option as well. But yeah, any of those exams, TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, any of those. All right, are there any other questions for us? If you are interested in joining us for the undergraduate information session, you can sign up at the link in the chat box. Again, that'll be on November 10th. We will offer one at 10 a.m. and one at 5 p.m. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Frye, for your time for two back-to-back classrooms today on your Saturday.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you for the great questions. I'm hoping I'll be seeing you all in the fall. Again, please do not be shy. If you have questions, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to do that. More than happy to have a Zoom meeting with y'all. So if you have